Okay. So I have a thought, right? And the thoughts came to me while I was in the bathroom. Um, there's this TikTok video that I saw. Um, one of those where there's just a quote and the person in the video is just reacting to what's in the quote. Ne? So the quote says, I hope you get everything that you wanted, everything that you ever wanted, and I hope it's not enough. Yeah, boy. And then the person was just like, oh my God, I would die if like someone said this to me or whatever. And I just had a thought about it in the bathroom, Jigamanji, because today for me was just jam packed. So like saying that I literally midnights up until manje, like so much has happened and it's just 10 and then and probably a lot is gonna happen still. And what I feel like I'm being presented with by life is everything in theory that I'd say I want. And I'd say, if following up from my last video on what is love, there's certain things that I had identified. If I were to be in like an environment like this, in an emotional environment, in a mental environment, just sexual, financial, then gay, I would feel like free enough to be in what people describe as love with omunye umuntu, ne? Like I'll feel okay to commit, okay to, trust omunye umuntu because that doesn't come easily for me. So zikhona izinto that I'd say it was okay. Yabo mase kufika umuntu and ebe kanje 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 and they feel kanje 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 and my cards say this, then I would be okay with exploring it. Because I do tend to be avoidant and I'm just so wired to be by myself, ne, and to just be alone. So I know how deep that gets. Ne? So getting issues, under these circumstances, under these conditions, then okay, fine. I have no reason to be against yabo the whole thing. But ke nansi into ne yafika to the T, like in theory, like kufika umuntu and it's not even a person. I don't even know how to kufike isimo. Yabo, kufike isimo. And to the T, I should be, I should be free to, or just like at least excited. I am curious, but there's something holding me back from wanting to approach this, even though it sounds like everything that I've ever wanted. Yabo, it sounds like it's like, yo, yeah, ne. It's just so, hey, bruh. It's just so. Yeah, tools. Yeah, tools. Yeah, tools. Really, it does. Like, even though it's what I said I wanted, it doesn't feel like it. Cause man, just saying tools and you say bomb like, these are the type of adjustments that I have to make in order to live in a reality where I experience izinto engithena ngefuna. And these adjustments have nothing to do with other people, by the way. It's just all me internally. Izinto engiyicabangayo. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm freaking out. I'm freaking out. But I'm writing at 2 and it's 10:32 manjik. So that's in like a few hours. That's in a few hours. But angazi, I don't know. You know, sometimes I always think about how easier it would be if I didn't want anything out of life. Like if naturally I didn't have a preference, like if I wasn't naturally drawn to certain things over others, if I just didn't care about anything. I didn't care about spirituality. I didn't care about tarot. I didn't care about relationships. I didn't care about children. I didn't care about the future. I didn't care about the earth. I didn't care about other people. I didn't care about myself. Sometimes I just wish that I just didn't care at all. Like, I just had no desire to do anything. Just, you know? What is that? What is that? Just to cease to exist. To cease to exist. But not in a tragic way, Yabo. Not in like a tragic, oh, she wants to go. But just like in a, I'm tired of the efforts that it takes to be alive, ne? And everything that keeps me up, because zonke lezi zinto engiyibalile are sort of important aspects of mina, yabo. I care about relationships, children, zonke lezo zinto, and they make who I am. They make me who I am. But oftentimes lezi zinto ziyasinda, like the things that you care about become burdens sometimes, and they become heavy, and they push you to like wanting to not be alive, ne? Like the very thing that's keeping you here, you realizing Guti, it's what's keeping you here, if that makes sense. The thing that's keeping you here is what's keeping you here. So wake in the leon because not to sound, but life sometimes is torture. Being alive is really, really torturous. The emotional experience, it can get overwhelming to the point where yeah, like extreme emotion could kill people without a doubt. Like umuntu can feel themselves to death. And you know, I would just like to see in my life, and not on social media or in the Bible, or just, I would just like to see in my life an example of umuntu who just has it right, you know, who's just living their life ngendlela right. If such a thing exists, you know, who really has it together. That would be so nice to see if such a thing exists. Like the model, of course there isn't. Like as I'm saying this, I already know the answer, which there is none. The mysteries of the universe. Le party le better, better. But I love it. I love it. And I love the way that I experience existentialism. I enjoy my specific nuanced existential crisis. I love how when I have an existential crisis, when I feel like Uguti life, I fuck is going on here. Because of my Christian background, would be to question God, or to talk to God and ask him questions. That's what I mean. And then I grew and I realized, Wuti, you know, God is inside. Yabo. And we are in essence creating our lives. So now that has sort of been replaced with meditation. And the mind, the conscious mind, the ego, mine is Gemini. It's always questioning. And I feel like mine sees things that it can't understand, like it can't make sense of. I feel like I'm at a point where spiritually I am ahead of myself. Like the experiences that I am calling forward and that I am experiencing are way beyond me. They're way beyond my ego's ability to just make sense of. Like it's sort of as if like I'm catching up to myself. But then regardless of how it feels, like lento lobe ngikhuluma ngayo at the beginning of the video, the thing that I said I wanted, it feels weird, but not a bad weird. It's just a weird that my ego is not used to. So it's really trying to suppress. It's really trying to suppress, and that is making me feel weird. But it's not the actual thing. The actual thing just feels like everything that I've ever wanted. It feels good. And everything that I've ever wanted feels good. Oh man, just so 11. Oh man, it feels good. The mind. The mind. The mind doesn't run shit, we do. Mercury is retrograde. Mercury retrograde. Subconscious mind. Going into itself. Wanting to see itself. So I'm realizing, my mind is a fighter. It doesn't give up easily. It's not just gonna allow me to change. And I love it for that. It's one of the things that I really, really appreciate about my mind. It's not just gonna go along with whatever feels right. I think that's a very important. That's why the mind is there in the first place. So nakhona lento lena, this new reality that I am bringing forward, the mind is not just allowing because it wants to be sure. It wants to be secure. And I should take that as a chance not to gaslight myself or what, but to just seek for as much clarity as I need until I feel safe enough, until my mind feels convinced enough. Or what, I can go forward with this. So just think about this. Think about this if like someone is asking you out and you like it, you like what they're saying, but there's a part of you that is just not sure. There's just certain things that are just not certain for wena, Nane. Those things are not for you to dismiss out of fear of maybe uzoporega the other person, or you're under pressure to answer them, or to say something because they're gonna lose interest, That's when you feel anxious, or angazi, like I just have no idea. But all of that is not necessary, right? It's not necessary to push yourself under all of that. And you can always speak up. You can always speak up and say, I need more information. I like where this is going. I like what you're saying. And yeah, but I just need a little bit more. I need more clarity. I need to hear it from this angle. Answer this one more question, Get as much clarity as you need, ne? You have plenty of time. The mind doesn't know that. The mind, especially if you like have an overactive like nervous system, you always think you have to rush to make a decision. But isn't they they take time. You have to give yourself time to see things clearly. Don't rush yourself. So circling back to my chat about existentialism, whenever you do have an existential crisis, there's always something that triggers it. But once it's there, what you should do, or what I do, what's helpful, is to look at it as a chance for you to observe how your mind works. What really bothers you? Because the existential crisis, bruh, you question the very essence of existence. They cause you to question the very essence of reality. Like you start at the source, uzofika ngidila khona nale nkinga oqalelane. Like there's certain issues that are just that deep, ne? And once you're there, there's information that you can get about yourself and about inking okuyona, the type of questions that come up. Is it difficult for you to make a decision? Or is it difficult for you to allow yourself to have the things that you want? Like, what is it? Meditation. You'll find it in meditation. Existential crisis always gives you something to meditate on later, like post-exist. So ride the wave, feel your things, question God, question existence, question it. Especially when you get to those moments where you feel like you have to, where nothing is making sense. Ask those questions. You have to ask them. Otherwise, the answers won't come. The answers may come even from you not consciously asking those questions. But ngekwazi ukuthi uzobamba late ukuthi, oh, so that's why I was going through that. Because ama solutions are puma the minute the issue begins. That's when the universe starts sorting out to see how are you getting yourself out, your higher self. How are you riding this wave? What is it leaving? What imprint is it leaving on you? Is it leaving on you? When you just have to allow, when you have your mind to tend to, your mind to tend to. And there's so many resources, to help you tap into your mental space and to just better understand your mind and how the mind works. Top three. Third one, I'd say astrology. I love astrology. I'll say with tarot, coupled with tarot is a very nice tool. So astrology, yes. 2 is sacred texts. So the Bhagavad Gita, the Bible. Hey, 50-50 lapo. If you have access to esoteric readings from like the Rosicrucian Order or William Donohue and people like that, like people who teach the Bible in an esoteric manner, which focuses on the inner life and looks for God within rather than outside. So the whole Bible, the people who look at the Bible as the journey of raising consciousness or the life of a human from Genesis to Revelations, that's the second resource. Beautiful work for just understanding the human being and the different archetypes nakhona. And then number 1, uvala ngqi, meditation. Stillness, meditation, stillness, thule, shadow work. Look into yourself, sit with yourself when you're triggered, when you're not triggered, when something comes up. There's so many different resources on the internet, different meditations for different things. If you have a wound, if you need to forgive, if you're holding a grudge, if you lack love, low self-esteem, poor self-concept, you don't value yourself. There's something for everything. There's something for everything. Ne? And these things work. These things work. Yeah, they're like feminine tools for awakening. There's the masculine, which is the efforting, the doing, the actual steps that you physically take in order to help yourself. And then there's the passive or the feminine, which births the masculine, which is the subconscious, where life comes from. Yeah. That's what you target kakhulu when you want to bring change. Through meditation, subconscious programming, into kanjalo, frequency music, healing stuff, yonke leyo nto leyo, to change, to ngiyabhala njalo ngo-2.